Thank you, Chair. I've got a number of apologies, I'm afraid. I've got Councillor Tim Fleming, Councillor Hargreaves, House and Creevy, all of which who have COVID, and Councillor Elliott is also feeling ill this evening. So, and Councillor Howson, I do apologise.
Well, I hope everybody gets themselves sorted and doesn't pass it on to everybody. Yes, Councillor.
That's why I'm sat here. Councillor Clayton is running late but trying to get here.
Right.
He hasn't walked in yet. No,
okay. Thank you for that. Right. Will you stick your hands up like that? Councillor. Yes.
Apologies from Councillor Kevin Titlady.
Right. Thank you. Just had a phone call. Can everybody make sure that their phones are on silent or off, please, if you don't mind? Thank you for that. To receive any declarations of interest by members? No? Thank you. To deal with any business required by statute? Nothing? Sorry about that. Just my two... I was going to say reprobates, but ladies had a private joke there, but whatever it was. We're here actually to receive the monitoring officer's report and to pass any such resolutions that are deemed necessary on our electoral cycle. So I'll hand over to Hayley. When you're ready, please, Hayley.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Mayor. Members, the purpose of this report is for members to note the outcome and response from the public consultation and to decide whether to retain the current electoral cycle of election by thirds or move to whole council all-out elections every 4. This issue was initially raised with me at Constitution Committee in July 2021, where members tasked me with looking at what the process was to change to whole council elections. A report was presented to the Constitution Committee on the 22nd of November, where I set out the requirements of the Local Government and Public Involvement in Health Act. Members noted that the Tees Valley authorities all have whole council elections and the potential financial savings associated with the move. The committee recommended that consideration be given to moving to whole council elections from May 2024. That recommendation was then considered by full council in December and a period of consultation commenced. Details of the consultation responses are set out at section 4 of this report and the associated appendices. Of the 107 people who completed the survey, 80 voted for the change and 27 voted to remain with election by thirds. Section 5 sets out the legal considerations which require that any change be agreed by a 2/3 majority of those voting. Members will also note that if the decision is to change to whole council elections, then this decision cannot be changed for a period of 5 years. Members are therefore asked to consider the outcome of the consultation and decide whether to retain the current electoral cycle or move to whole council elections from 2024. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll make a note of people who have indicated already. And anybody else who wishes to speak at this moment? No? Right, thank you. Councillor Brown.
Thank you, Chair. When this item came up at Constitution Committee, oddly enough, I voted for it. But since then, speaking to many residents, lots of residents I've spoke to don't seem to be in favour of it. They think that by doing this, we lose a lot of our independent democracy within our little town. I know there's a cost to this and there's a cost saving to not having it, but then there's a cost to every other service we offer. And I think we in this room offer a service. And certainly the feedback I've had from my residents is that even with that really small cost over the period, they prefer the system we've got. So with that, I don't think I can support this. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Councillor Young.
Yes, a brief statement. As a group leader for the Conservative Party, I can confirm as a group that all-out elections would undoubtedly be advantageous to the local Conservatives. However, it is clear that the response from just 80 people in Hartlepool in favour of changing the system would be wrong of us to support, and that could be seen as a perceived benefit to us. So keeping with the third system, it gives the public of Hartlepool the opportunity to show us that they are happy or not happy with us, and therefore I can support this proposal.
Thank you. Councillor Picton.
Yeah, I also voted for it at one of the meetings, but when I mentioned it at the residents' meeting, I was backed up into a corner. They weren't happy about it, so I myself is going to I've got fibromyalgia, sorry, redraw what I voted for in the first one. Okay?
Thank you. Anybody else wish to speak? Councillor Harrison.
Thanks, Chair. I'm quite shocked. I think that it's a much better system going for the 4-year all-outs. I think that having an election practically every year actually stops the flow of our democratic service. And I think that the fact that we would save a lot of money in doing one every 4 years rather than most years is an advantage. So I think there are many advantages to the 4 years all out, and I would be supporting that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Councillor Little.
Thank you, Chair. I didn't vote for it when it came to committee earlier on. 80% of 80 people in Hartlepool, I would just repeat what everybody else has said, there's no way I can support this.
Thank you. Councillor Brash.
Thanks, Chair. I mean, in some respects, if I'm lucky enough to be re-elected in May, it looks like the opposition have just extended my term by 2 years. So, you know, swings and roundabouts, I suppose. I mean, personally, this saves the public money. The council's voted for it once. The Constitution Committee's voted for it once. We asked the public a question. They gave us an answer we're now going to ignore. I mean, I completely hold my hands up. I'm devastated by the amount of people who responded to the consultation, and I do wonder whether an organisation of this size can't muster more than 100 people to take part in a consultation, preferably because I imagine 36 of them are sat in this room virtually. So it's probably even less than that. But look, at the end of the day, it saves money, and I think it leads to better governance, and it's in line with what the vast majority of councils in this area do. I find it very difficult to ask the public a question and ignore the answer. I think that's a very strange thing to do, but, you know, it's fine. We're voting for it, they're voting against it, you know, done and dusted.
Okay. Councillor Smith.
Can I just ask, it said £40,000 over 4 years. Is that £40,000 a year? So it's more than £40,000. It's £40,000 per year, not per 4 years.
Anybody else wish to speak? Yeah, Councillor.
Thank you, Chair. I'll keep it brief. It's obvious I supported this right away from the get-go and spoke in favour of moving to this election cycle right away from Constitution Committee to full council back in December. Completely understand some of the comments that have been made. It can lead to a more robust governance structure. It can save this local authority money. But I'm mindful of the fact that the response has been absolutely dire. And Councillor Brash pointed out one of the key issues that I wanted to raise, in that of those 80 people who are in favour of it, how many are current elected members and how many are potential candidates or those who are active in politics anyway? If we were to move ahead with this, I'm not confident, going off the feedback that we've had so far from the public and the response that I've had subsequently when I've been to parish council meetings in the rural parishes and other places, when the response has been overwhelmingly negative. So I'm uncomfortable moving forward, even though I support this, based on the fact that I don't think we have a mandate to do it from the public.
Okay, thank you. Can I just point out that obviously the consultation was anonymous, so we don't know how many councillors actually did or did not take part in it, or members of the public. I don't know whether you want to add anything to that part, Hayley. That's correct, isn't it? Yes. Yep. Councillor Brash.
A thought occurs to me. I'm delighted that Shane's listening to the parish councils. I'm sure the parish councils will be interested to hear that as well. I mean, just call me conspiratorial, but I wonder if the fact that it was perfectly obvious from the spring statement that the next general election is going to be on the same day in 2024, and some members opposite have looked at the current polling and maybe thought that in all that elections not in their interests in May 2024 at the same day as a general election. Just a thought.
Couldn't possibly say. Councillor Lindridge.
Thanks, Chair. I'll just get down to brass tacks. 80 people, right, in the town have decided to vote for the change. It's derisory, it's unfortunate, it's just the way people perceive public perception of politics. I would be supporting the existing 3-2-1 system as it stands, because I think it gives the opportunity for residents to actually vote out people that's not doing the job properly. It's so easy to get and find that you're getting a click. I feel in the past in Labour I've been in that, and that's why I've moved on to being independent. I can speak my own mind and have my
excuse me,
and have my own views, not like the puppet master with the rest of them.
Gentlemen,
right? So right, that's what I'm saying is.
Thank you.
Can I finish, Councillor Brash, please?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep.
So as far as I'm concerned, you get people in, and if the residents don't like you, they have the opportunity to vote you out, as opposed to just sitting in a little cosy section, you know, voting together, right, and for the benefit of the people. So that's my view.
Thank you. Councillor Harrison.
Sorry, I know I should know the answer to this, but can I just ask how many voted against it? 27, and for it?
80.
Yeah. So I'm just thinking that the majority of people who voted for it, voted for it. We can't, we've got to go on that. Maybe the rest of the town don't care one way or the other. And I can only presume if they didn't vote one way or the other, they're not bothered. But 80 of the people who voted, out of the over 100, voted for it. And you're going against what they've asked for.
Thank you. Councillor Prince.
Thanks, Chair. I mean, I think what Jim just said is a moot point, because people are going to go vote, and if they don't like whoever, they wouldn't vote for that person, whether it's in blocks of 3 or not. But I actually think from, it was Mike's point, and I think that the low uptake of consultation really proves that people aren't engaging with the democracy in the town. And I think that all members, and I mean, when Paddy and I went door knocking, I know that we both heard the same thing, so I assume that all members have heard the same thing door knocking. You're only here when there's an election, and one of the things that I support in this is that it gives you more chance, and Paddy and I, when we work together, we've tried to get out in the middle, tried to go walking through the ward, and I know that you guys do, and other people do, and it's about trying to engage with residents in between. And if there's an election every year, no matter what colour or whether you're independent, you're going to work with your team member. You know, you're saying you're independent because you don't want to be part of a puppet or whatever. But you've openly supported a candidate for your ward. So I'm assuming that you're going to go and help them campaign. You know, these things take so much time that we're not engaging in the things that help our residents when we're out campaigning to get elected to do those things. And so for that reason, I do believe that this is the best system. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Little.
Can I ask how much a by-election costs? I can't say yes. Because I think if we went to the 4-year system, there'd be more by-elections because situations change. So, and plus paper candidates.
Haley.
On average, 12,000 for a by-election.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Cranny.
Hi, thanks, Chair. I think the current system works very well, to be honest. I was a paper candidate, as most people know in here. I think I would have been very scared if it was a 4-year term that I was facing. I think the fact that I've got in 1 year, and I think the fact that the residents, if they had enough of me and they weren't happy with me, they would have that ability to get me out after the first year, rather than putting up with me for another 3 afterwards. So personally, I think that the current system works, and I think it's fair, and I think it encourages people like me and others like me to come forward.
Thank you. Thank you. Councillor Brash.
I mean, it's important that we're all operating on the facts here. The only reason Councillor Cranny got a one-year term is because we had all-outs last year. If it hadn't been an all-out election, as it won't be going forward, you get 4 years regardless. Everyone who gets elected on May the 5th gets 4 years if we don't press ahead with this system. So the only reason you got a one-year term is because you were elected in an all-out election in a town that elects by thirds. So we've got to operate on the facts.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to say anything? Sorry. Yep. Well, sorry, Councillor Hall.
Just a clarification on the savings. I mean, you're talking about 40,000 for each election, but in 4 years, there's a follow year, and then it's reducing of the savings, increasing savings in the 4 years. Just a point on that.
Okay, thank you. Can we now go to a recorded vote, please? And it must be a 2/3 majority in this particular case. So when you're ready, please, Denise. Thank you.
Councillor Ashton. Sorry. We're going to go for all-out elections. That's what the recommendation says in the report. So you're voting for all-out elections.
So every 4 years.
Against.
Okay.
So
Everybody
Councillor
clear?
Ashton.
Yep. Thank you.
Against.
Thank you.
Denise.
Councillor Boddy. Councillor Brash. Councillor Brown.
Against.
Councillor Cassidy. Councillor Clayton.
For.
Councillor Cook.
Abstain. No, I won't.
Okay.
No, I won't. I'll go for.
Councillor Cowie.
Against.
Councillor Cranny. Councillor Faulkner.
Against.
Councillor Feeney. Councillor Groves.
Against.
Councillor Hall. Councillor Harrison. Councillor Jackson.
Against.
Councillor Lindridge.
Against.
Councillor Little.
Against.
Councillor Loynes. Councillor Moore. Councillor David Nicholson. Councillor Veronica Nicholson.
Against.
Councillor Picton. Councillor Price. Councillor Prince. Councillor Richardson. Councillor Riddle. Councillor Smith. Councillor Stokel. Councillor Young. That isn't carried.
Thank you. So that proposal is lost, is not carried by 2/3 majority. Can I just thank everybody? We are obviously going on to our full council meeting at 6 o'clock. So we have 10 minutes, so I'll close this meeting and we will reopen at 6 o'clock. Okay? Thank you, everybody.
Please stand.